Hi, everybody, and welcome back to That's a Deal Comics. And I'm coming back with actually a little bit of change of pace. We're actually going to start reading some of these, and since it's getting obviously into, I guess, the month of October, I think today is actually. Anyways, but Halloween's around the corner, and everyone, if everyone's up for haunted houses and all that good stuff, and watching scary movies. This, however, is a comic, and honestly, there's actually a couple shows and stuff based off of these old books, especially like series, Creep Show, and all that type of good stuff. I thought it was pretty neat. Anyways, we're gonna just dive right on into this. So this is Tales from the Crypt #1, and it's featuring the Crypt Keeper, the Vault Keeper, and the Old Witch. And I have no idea what's going on in this one, but it's really creepy. Almost like a mummy and some type of weird mutation or whatever. Alright, let's just dive right in. That's pretty cool. Dreadful Pleasures. Sorry if there's a glare. Okay, so the first story, I suppose, is Crypt of Terror. Alright, so got a collector's item for you fiends. Got a real great chiller. Diller. What? Give the man your grimy little dime. You haven't done so already, and come into the Crypt of Terror. This is the Crypt Keeper, the ready with another of my tales of horror. Sorry, I'm like reading this through the camera. The tan bark floor, and I'll begin the blood-curdling yarn I call lower birth. Okay. Long before the advent of radio, movies, television, and comic books, the only entertainment folks throughout the country enjoyed were the traveling carnivals, which set up their gaily colored tents on vacant tracts of land at the outskirts of their towns. About 80 years ago, one of these carnivals came to a small town in the Ozark Mountains. I'll do the voices. Right this way, folks. See the sideshow. See the greatest collection of oddities ever to be assembled under one tent. Right this way, folks. The sideshow of this particular carnival was owned by a man named Ernest Feely. Patiently, over the years, he had assembled a fabulous collection of oddities and freaks. He had the usual attractions. Alright. See Fanny the Fat Lady, folks. 450 pounds of female poultitude. See Hadnar the Sword Swallower, Skullface the Living Skeleton, Figo the Fire Eater. But Ernest Feely had one attraction, a headline attraction that never failed to draw the crowds to separate the curious from their quarters. And last but not least, folks, the star attraction of Feely's Sideshow, the most unusual oddity ever to be put on display anywhere, anytime, inside in its original sarcophagus is Myrna, the only female Egyptian mummy in existence. 25 cents, folks, right this way. Okay. Myrna, the Egyptian mummy, was owned by Zachary Kling. Retired archaeologist Ernest Feely paid Zachary Kling a very large salary for the privilege of exhibiting Myrna. And now, folks, if you will, step this way. Dr. Kling, who found Myrna, the Egyptian mummy, will tell you all about her and show her to you. 5 times a day, Zachary Kling would narrate how he discovered Myrna and then show her to the gaping customers. He'd even undo part of her wrappings. Myrna, the only female Egyptian mummy in America, was found in the Valley of the Kings by my expedition. Her tomb is deep in the cliffs that tower over the Nile River. Huh. On the tomb walls, we found the inscriptions describing her incarceration. It seems that Myrna, or Myrna, as the Egyptian called her, was a lady in waiting to the pharaoh's wife. Oh, bring me my perfume, Myrna. Yes, mistress. Okay, here we go. Myrna was very beautiful and soon caught the pharaoh's fancy, but loyal Myrna, faithful to the mistress, repelled the pharaoh's advances. Oh, jeez. Do not struggle, my pet. I am your king. You must do as I wish. No, I will never. Oh, dang, man. No way. This guy did not just offer for that. The pharaoh, in anger, ordered that she be buried alive as punishment. Myrna was forcibly wrapped in the ceremonial burial windings. She fights like a cat, sire. She will fight no more. Hurry. She basically just got buried alive because she refused this guy. That's nuts. Okay. There we go. And so, for 4,000 years, the poor girl lay in her tomb until I uncovered her, and now I give you Myrna. Gasp. Choke. Pretty much, what is that, you know? The mummified body of the unfortunate servant girl stood in its sarcophagus, its arms folded across its chest. The carnival customers never failed to gasp and scream whenever Dr. Kling would uncover it. And now I will remove some of the wrappings. He's going in for it. Oh, jeez. What do you expect? If the sight of the mummy was revolting, her unwrapped face was even more so. The wrinkled, dried flesh clung to her skull like wet tissue paper. Her eyes and receded deep into their sockets. Lips were drawn tightly back in a leering grin. Some cried out, some turned away. Good Lord! But there were always more the next night. More of the curious. Word traveled fast in small towns. They flocked to see Myrna. She will earn her keep. I think Ernest Feely paid Zachary Kling his salary happily, and then when the carnival hit that small Ozark town. Okay. You, Mr. Feely, my name's Jeb Sickles. I understand you own this here sideshow, Mr. Feely, and I think maybe you might be interested in what I got. What's that, Mr. Sickles? Is that his name, Mr. Sickles? Wait. Yeah, it is. I guess so. Okay. I'm the doc around these parts, Mr. Feely, and ain't got no license or nothing. But folks like what I do for 'em, so they come to 'em about 2 years ago. Oh, they come to me. Okay, he has that accent. About 2 years ago, this here crone come down from the mountains. I never laid eyes on her before. She begged me to come back with her. Look, Mr. Sickles, I'm a busy man. Get to the point. What is it you've got that I'd be interested in? I'd get to it, Mr. Feely. Take it easy. Anyways, this old crone begged me so bad, I went. She told me her son was sick, terrible sick. She said he was a-dying. She took me up into the mountains to this here cave. I nearly throwed up at what I saw. What was it, Mr. Sickles? All right. It was her son, Miss Feely. Her son had 2 heads. It was horrible. Joke. Can you do anything for Enoch? Enoch? He has too far gone from me to save. He died about an hour after we got to the grave. I'm sorry, ma'am. I done all I could. Enoch is dead. Take him away. Take him out of my sight. He must have been 22, Mr. Feely. I took his body back down the mountain and put it in moonshine still. I didn't want nobody to see it. And you still have it, the 2-headed body? It's been in the still for 2 years, Mr. Feely. The moonshine seems to have preserved it. You... Take me to it quickly! Okay, I guess the guy's very interested. Mr. Feely and the quack doctor pushed their way through the crowd, ogling at Myrna, the mummy, outside the carnival grounds. A horse wagon waited. They drove to a hidden still. There she is, Mr. Feely. Come on. Alright, here we go. Sorry about adjusting. Just kind of going off of how I can do this. The light from the lantern casts an orange glow into the huge... Hold on, let me fix this. The huge wooden still vat. Below the surface of the moonshine, the pulpy white faces of the two-headed corpse stared up at Ernest Feely. That's him! Gulp. Ernest turned to Jeb Sickles, his eyes wide, face flushed. How would you like to join my show, Jeb? Do what old Doc Kling does. Exhibit this here Enoch and tell how you got him. I'll pay you a good salary. Join up with you fellers? Well, I don't know. I guess I'd like that. Okay, so Jeb Sickles took his two-headed preserved body out of the still and joined Ernest Feely's sideshow. Enoch was placed in a specially made glass tank filled with formaldehyde and put on exhibit. That's crazy. Sorry. Just read that. And now, folks, I give you the Dr. Jefferson Sickles and Enoch. Folks, I discovered Enoch in a cave of an old mountain crone back in the Ozarks. He died in my arms. When Jeb drew back the curtain revealing the pasty-skinned, bloated, two-headed corpse of Enoch, the sideshow customers would cringe and shudder in revulsion. And now I give you Enoch, the two-headed man. Choke, cough. Alright, here we go. It didn't take long for Ernest Feely to realize that the thing in the huge glass tank was a really valuable exhibit and deserved star billing like Myrna. It's either, I call it Myrna or Myrna. That's right, Jeb. I'm moving you up to star attraction. You'll share it with Dr. Kling here. Thanks, Mr. Feely. Oh, and this guy's all butthurt. Either way, you guys are putting stuff on exhibit. That's crazy. So Enoch was placed opposite Myrna. 5 times a day, Jeb Sickles and Zach Kling exhibited their oddities to the curious who paid their quarters to see him. Myrna! Enoch! 5 times a day, Myrna's rotted brown wrappings were removed from her mummified face. Gasp, choke. That's still crazy. This is even crazier, too. And 5 times a day, the curtain hiding Enoch's tank was withdrawn, revealing the twisted, turning, preserved corpse. That's so messed up. And 5 times a day, as the crowd ogled and gasped, pasty-skinned, two-headed Enoch floating in his formaldehyde world stared with glazed eyes at the putrid, mummified, unwrapped face of Myrna the mummy. Okay. The carnival moved on from town to town. The crowds flocked to see Enoch and Myrna, and jealousy between Zach Kling and Jeb Sickles flamed. What do you mean you're cutting my salary? If it wasn't for Myrna, Enoch pulls him in too, Zach. I've been underpaying Jeb, and he and you get the same from now on. I'm lowering your pay and raising his. That's alright. That's still crazy. The bloated body with the staring pairs of eyes swayed in the formaldehyde. The dried remains and the rotted wrappings stood silently. 5 times a day they gazed upon each other. Enoch, Myrna. Ernest Feely, always the businessman, announced, I'm moving you and Myrna out front, Kling. We need a draw for the admissions. Jeb and Enoch are the stars now. Oh, okay. Wow. And so when the rotted wrappings were removed from Myrna's sunken, mummified eyes, she looked out across the crowd and saw nothing. I give you Myrna. And when the curtain was pulled back, uncovering Enoch's tank, he looked out across the crowd and saw nothing. I give you Enoch. Thus, in black of night, when the carnival folk lay asleep, a dried and bony hand moved slowly, hesitantly, pulling away its rotted brown wrappings. She's alive. While a bloated, pale hand slid upward over the tank rim, pulling its chalky, pulpy body after it. Jeez. Alright. The morning heard the sideshow tent echo with angry voices. That's a weird way to say it. The morning heard the sideshow tent echo with angry voices. I guess it is, huh? He stole Enoch. He stole Myrna. Calm down, you two. Ernest quieted the raging oddity owners. Use your heads, you fools. If both are missing, neither of you could have done it. Old Doc Ling knelt to the tan bark and to the tan bark. Oh, okay, sorry. I was like, what tan bark? Okay, it's more of a yellow. Well, it's old comic. To the tan bark, picked up a musty-smelling fragment. A piece of Myrna's wrappings, drops of formaldehyde. They got that way. All right. The three men followed the fragments of mummy wrappings and the droplets of formaldehyde out of the sideshow tent and into the morning sunlight. The trail was clear, very clear. It leads to that house. Look at that sign. Gasped Justice of the Good Lord, Justice of the Peace. So that was like maybe like a courthouse or something. The Justice of the Peace was very friendly. He told the sideshow men all he knew. Couple came last night. Yep, wanted to get married. I did it. I performed the ceremony. Wasn't there anything strange about him? Shucks, all I can say is they must have been drinking, smelled mighty bad, as if they'd been, but $5 is $5. He did it for $5. Maybe back then, I guess that was big. Didn't you see? Didn't see nothing. Can't see. I'm blind, you know. Well, blind? Good Lord. Yeah, he literally married. Oh my gosh. Okay. There we go. Back to, careful now. Don't peek. Here comes the finish. Brace yourselves. First, let me say that Mr. Feely, Jeb, and Zach lost Myrna and Enoch's trail after they left the JP. I don't know what that means, but whatever. Just couldn't find him. In fact, it wasn't until a year later when the carnival returned to the very Ozark town where Enoch had first joined the sideshow that Mr. Feely heard about the strange doings up in the mountains. Somebody said they seen him, but I don't believe him. Whoever heard of a living mummy and a two-headed corpse? Where did they see him? Up in the old crone's cave. She's dead now, but the folks around here are mighty superstitious. If and you ask me, they're seeing things now. Jeb will take me there. He knows where it is. Okay. All right. They went, and Jeb and Zach, who stayed on with the carnival as handyman, and Mr. Feely, they went up the mountain to the old crone's cave. Look, good Lord, it's them! And the three carnival men dragged their long-lost oddities back down the mountain. Myrna, my Myrna, Enoch, my boy! At last, after over a year. But the three men were out of the earshot when the whale drifted out from the deep in the bowels of the crone's cave. They never saw the infant thing crawl out into the sunlight, its eyes streaming with tears, crying for its parents. It's him! What? That's it. Yep, that's it, kiddies. That's my story. Yep, Enoch of the Double Domes was my old man, and Myrna the mummy was my old lady. You might say the mummy was my mommy. By the way, I understand that there is a carnival today, 80 years later, that still exhibits a mummy and a two-headed preserved corpse. If any of you see them, write me. I want to send a card. It's their anniversary next month. That's crazy. Oh, man. So, it was literally the Crypt Keepers' mom and dad. That's wild. Okay. I think we're going to have to end it here. I don't want to go too long into these stories because I'm going to have to go story by story. So either that or I'll skip to a different book here and there. Depends on how I want to proceed. This is actually pretty crazy, but so I'm going to end it here. But the next story is going to be The Vault of Horror, and followed by I think think that's the Vault Keeper, from what his name? Yeah, the Vault Keeper. So the Vault Keeper is going to be telling this tale. So again, this is going to be this trick will kill you. Would be the next story. Anyways, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. I appreciate any support. I will be back with more of these jaw-dropping, scary stories from Tales from the Crypt. A lot of this stuff's kind of goofy, but it's pretty good so far. So again, any support from my channel, I would gratefully appreciate it. And if I'm struggling to read some of this comic, I'm literally looking through my camera right now. So and then some of the words, it's just like, huh? Some very old ways of, I guess, how they put it in sentences or whatever. But I actually enjoyed that story. It's kind of creepy, crazy, and really messed up, but at the same time edited with something like, okay, that's him. That's their son. So that's something else. All right, well, have a good one, everybody, and enjoy your weekend. So, see ya.